Hi, everyone. My name is Brian McLaren. Arthur Morton was a great blessing, a great gift in my life. I was one of his pastors during the years that he attended Cedar Ridge Community Church in the Washington, D.C. area. We had the honor of working with him to put on a couple of his one-man shows. I'll never forget the Cotton Patch Gospel and the Gospel of John that he so beautifully performed and touched so many people. I have great respect for Arthur as an artist, as a creative soul, but even greater respect for him as a man, as a human being. I worked with him through some of the hardest and most difficult days of his life. I saw his heart. No matter how difficult times were, he wanted to do the right thing, to act in love to the best of his ability. He was a man of humility and strength, of creativity and generosity, a man who experienced great sorrow and great love. Like all of you, I saw Christ in Arthur Morton's life, and I will be forever grateful to him.
This is Mason Young. I stayed at University of South Carolina for 6 years, and he was my roommate almost all of it. Yeah. So, good times. Such a great guy, and it's so sad to lose him so soon. But we had so many fun times. I remember one time he climbed up a tower, one of those cranes for building, new construction cranes. It must have been 15 stories high that he went up on that thing. Art was a very entrepreneurial guy, and so to raise money for college in the fall, he would run a fireworks stand during the summer. And I worked with him during the 4th of July timeline. After we would close, we would sell bottle rockets to some of the local kids, and then we'd have these bottle rocket wars that would last probably like an hour, where we would shoot at each other with these little bottle rockets. So that was crazy. More crazy stuff. And then at the end of the season, he put all the fireworks in this big cardboard box, threw some kerosene on it, lit the whole thing, and that was called a magic box. And then you had to run because you didn't know where the fireworks were headed once they all went off at the same time. And that was also fun.
Arthur Morton, I've known him a long time. He was one of the guys I worked with in ministry, campus ministry in South Carolina. He's one of the biggest hearted people I've ever known, if not the biggest hearted person I've ever known. He always did everything with just this tremendous passion and intensity. His walk with Christ, as well as in terms of his relationships with other people. He'll be greatly missed. He impacted a lot of people, including myself. One of the guys that you think of when you think of, man, this guy just had such passion and such a heart for the Lord and a heart for people.
Aside from being an incredible talent and such a fabulous, incredible addition to the cast, I was so grateful for his friendship. We were all grateful for the sort of a moral center, and Arthur was sort of a glue that kept us together in a lot of ways. And I'm just so honored to have gotten to spend that time with him. Not long before he sadly got sick, and it was just something that I'll never forget. And he touched all of our hearts, and it's just a really great honor to meet him.
Arthur was the sweetest human being, such a joy to work with. I remember coming to rehearsals and just having him crack jokes and creating the most light and funny environment. His legacy will always be somebody who was kind, somebody who had an immense amount of talent, and just led with his heart. So grateful to have had the opportunity to even get to work with him and share the same space. And I just know that he's watching over all of his loved ones, and we will never, ever forget the contribution that he made to society.
So my first encounter with Arthur, he was kind of like artistically a little bit of snobby, which I loved because it just showed his integrity for the arts, and he wasn't like just interested in anybody wanting to be a part of a church organization just because, you know, they had the desire, but he actually wanted good people. Arthur, more than anyone I have ever met, like understood this connection between God and our hearts and art and people, and that as artists and as Christians, and there's not a ton of Christian artists out there, or artistic Christians, either way you can say it, depending on what the emphasis is, but his understanding of him being a conduit for that, and understanding that art opens people's hearts up, and Jesus opens people's hearts up to him, and just having this rare position and rare privilege to be able to speak to people's hearts through Jesus, through the ministry of Christ, but then also through art, which is given to us by Christ. And so Arthur just understood that, and he could articulate that better than anybody I've ever met. And so when I got news that he was sick, and then when he passed, I wasn't sad, and I don't mean to sound that I'm callous to it. It's just, I was like, oh my gosh, he's like rocking it in heaven, and I'm going to join him at some point. We're all going to join him at some point. And then he's going to be even more Arthur than he was here on earth. Jodi Eareckson Tada talks about that. She wrote a book called Heaven, and she talks about how we are going to be the most of our personalities in heaven. All the things that make Arthur are going to be like exaggerated and exemplified in heaven, which Arthur was already a lot on earth. And so like he's going to be doing ninja kicks like all the time. And so I look forward to that. And like I said, my heart breaks for the people that he loved. He loved Judy. He loved her so much. He came to one of our cast parties over Christmas in December 2023 when we're in the middle of rehearsals for Children of a Lesser God. And he just was like showing her off, and he was just beaming, and like, he just loved her. And she made him a better man, and she matured him in a way that he had never been quite matured. But that's what happens when you have an incredible woman on your arm, or an incredible spouse. And so, I don't know what kind of husband he was to Judy, but I know that the kind of wife she was to him, he just felt so incredibly blessed by her. And so we will see you again, Arthur. We'll see you again, and it's going to be amazing.
Just pray that you rest in perfect peace, Arthur.
You're a great guy, Art. I'm going to miss you. Love you, bud.
Arthur, well done, good and faithful servant of God. Amen.
The fact that we're all the same, that we have a center, we have an essence, and we have different shells, we have different bodies that we move around in. And the things that make us different are not as big as we think they are. And the things that make us the same are much larger than we could ever imagine.